Robert Urich was a man who embodied the American dream. From his humble beginnings in a small Ohio town to becoming one of television's most trusted and beloved faces, his journey seemed like a script written for Hollywood success. Yet behind the polished exterior of a thriving acting career lay a personal story far more compelling than any role he ever played on screen. This is the story of Robert Urich and his wife Heather Menzies, a tale of extraordinary love tested by unimaginable adversity, culminating in a tragic ending that would define their legacy far more than any award or accolade ever could. The path to stardom rarely follows a straight line, and Robert Urich's journey was no exception. Born in Toronto, Ohio, to parents John Paul and Cecilia Monica Urich, Robert grew up in a household that valued hard work, ambition, and perseverance. His youth was marked by athletic prowess and natural charisma, qualities that would later serve him well on the silver screen. A football scholarship to Florida State University seemed to promise a future in athletics, but destiny had different plans. It was at Florida State where Urich crossed paths with another young man destined for Hollywood stardom, Burt Reynolds. While Reynolds would go on to become a household name through films like Smokey and the Bandit, Urich's path would lead him through a more deliberate and measured trajectory toward television success. Rather than pursuing professional football, Urich channeled his ambitions toward communication and media. He earned a degree in radio and television communications and later pursued a master's degree in broadcast research and management from Michigan State University. This educational foundation would prove invaluable as he navigated the competitive landscape of the entertainment industry. His early career was characterized by determination and a willingness to take risks. While working for WGN Television in Chicago, pulling in a meager $150 weekly, Urich made the bold decision to pursue acting on the side. When his employers discovered his moonlighting activities, he was terminated. Rather than viewing this as a setback, Urich recognized it as a sign that his true calling lay elsewhere. The early 1970s marked the beginning of Urich's ascent in television. His first significant television appearances came in acclaimed series such as SWAT, where he played Officer Jim Street, the cool-headed member of an elite tactical unit. The show became a cultural phenomenon, though critics occasionally lambasted it for excessive violence. Following SWAT, Urich's career trajectory included roles in numerous television series, each building upon the last, steadily establishing him as a reliable and talented performer. What set Urich apart from other actors of his era was not flashy scandal or tabloid headlines, but rather his unwavering professionalism and genuine likability that transcended the screen. It was Vegas, the 1978 series where Urich played private investigator Dan Tanner, that truly catapulted him to stardom. To prepare for the role, Urich underwent a remarkable physical transformation, gaining 40 pounds of muscle and completely embodying the character of a sophisticated Las Vegas detective navigating the neon-soaked streets of Sin City. The show became an instant success, earning Urich 2 Golden Globe nominations and establishing him as a leading man capable of carrying a major television series. For 3 seasons, Vegas dominated ratings and made Urich a household name. Yet even as he reached the pinnacle of television success, the pressures and demands of the industry began to mount. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Urich demonstrated remarkable versatility, transitioning between television and film while also expanding into hosting and documentary work. His role as private investigator Spencer in Spencer, For Hire became iconic, and he continued to revisit the character in made-for-television movies long after the series concluded. He hosted National Geographic Explorer, bringing intellectual curiosity and gravitas to the documentary series. His performance in the 1989 miniseries Lonesome Dove as the tragic figure Jake Spoon showcased his dramatic depth and earned critical acclaim. By any measure, Robert Urich had achieved a level of success that most actors could only dream of attaining. Then, in 1996, everything changed. The diagnosis came like a thunderbolt from a clear sky. Robert Urich was told that he had synovial sarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that attacks the soft tissues of the body. The disease is notoriously difficult to treat, and the prognosis is rarely optimistic. For a man accustomed to controlling his environment and projecting strength and confidence, a cancer diagnosis represented a type of adversary that no amount of acting ability or professional success could overcome. The news was devastating, not just for Urich himself, but for his family and the entertainment industry that had come to regard him with genuine affection and respect. What happened next, however, revealed the true character of Robert Urich. Rather than retreating from public life or succumbing to despair, he faced his diagnosis with remarkable courage and determination. He underwent aggressive chemotherapy, radiation treatments, and surgery. He lost his hair but never lost his determination. Astonishingly, he continued to work throughout his treatment, hosting assignments for National Geographic that took him to remote corners of the world even as his body battled the ravages of cancer. Colleagues and friends marveled at his resilience and his refusal to allow the disease to define or diminish him. More significantly, Urich transformed his personal tragedy into a mission of advocacy and philanthropy. He became a vocal proponent of cancer awareness and early detection, using his platform and celebrity to educate the public about the importance of research and prevention. He received numerous honors for his advocacy work, including awards from the John Wayne Cancer Institute and the Gilda Radner Courage Award. These accolades were not given for acting performances or entertainment value, but for genuine human courage and compassionate service to others facing similar battles. When he appeared on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and won $125,000, he donated the entire sum to cancer research at the University of Michigan Comprehensive Cancer Center. In 1998, after 2 grueling years of treatment, Urich was declared cancer-free. It seemed that his determination and positive outlook had prevailed. He was named the national spokesperson for the American Cancer Society and continued to work, including a role in Love Boat, The Next Wave on UPN, and even a Broadway appearance as Billy Flynn in Chicago. His resilience inspired millions and served as a testament to the power of the human spirit in confronting seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Yet the disease was not vanquished. In November 2001, Urich disclosed that doctors had discovered new lumps, indicating that his cancer had returned. Even this recurrence could not break his spirit. He remained optimistic, believing that new medications would prove effective. Sadly, this optimism would be tested beyond the limits of human endurance. In April 2002, Robert Urich's long and arduous battle came to an end. He was admitted to Los Robles Hospital and Medical Center in Thousand Oaks, California, with serious breathing complications. On April 16, 2002, at the age of 55, he passed away with his wife and children by his side. His death marked the end of an era in television history. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry and from viewers who had grown up watching him on their television screens. Yet for those closest to him, the loss was immeasurable. The man who had faced cancer with such grace and courage was gone, leaving behind a void that could never truly be filled. Parallel to Robert's extraordinary life was the equally remarkable story of his wife, Heather Menzies. Born on December 3, 1949, in Toronto, Ontario, to Scottish parents who had immigrated to Canada following World War II, Heather grew up in a household defined by artistic sensibility and wanderlust. Her father was a struggling artist, and the family moved frequently, from Vancouver to Miami to London to Southern California, providing young Heather with a cosmopolitan upbringing and exposure to diverse cultures and perspectives. Heather's entry into the entertainment industry came early and remarkably. At just 14 years old, she was cast in a role that would define much of her early career, Louisa Von Trapp in The Sound of Music. Without formal acting training, she held her own alongside established performers, singing So Long, Farewell and The Lonely Goat Herd with genuine charm and youthful innocence. During filming, it was Heather who heroically rescued young Kim Carath when she fell into the water during the iconic rowboat scene. This early success launched a career spanning decades in both television and film. She appeared in popular television series including Bonanza, Dragnet, Room 222, Marcus Welby, MD, and T.J. Hooker. In 1973, at the height of the sexual revolution, Heather posed for Playboy magazine in a pictorial titled Tender Trap, a playful reference to her Sound of Music past. This decision, controversial by some standards, reflected her willingness to take artistic risks and her comfort with her own sexuality and body. She continued to work consistently in the industry, taking on diverse roles that showcased her versatility. She appeared in films such as Hawaii, How Sweet It Is, and Piranha, and took on the role of Jessica Six in the cult science fiction series Logan's Run. The meeting between Robert and Heather occurred in 1974 while they were filming a commercial together. The irony was delicious. They were filming a scene in which they pretended to get married. Life imitated art when they began dating and subsequently married in 1975. Their union, which would last until Robert's death in 2002, was built on shared values, mutual respect, and a profound love for family and the craft of acting. The couple adopted 3 children, Ryan, Emily, and Allison, after Heather suffered multiple miscarriages. For Robert and Heather, the path to parenthood was not easy, but their commitment to family remained unwavering. Robert proved to be a devoted and emotionally present father. He understood that true parenting transcended discipline and punishment. It required genuine connection and understanding. When Ryan found himself in trouble at school, rather than scolding, Robert would sit down at eye level with his son and open the door to conversation. He wanted to understand the motivations behind his son's actions, not merely to correct behavior. This gentle and empathetic approach defined his parenting philosophy. With his daughters, he brought the same attentiveness, celebrating even the smallest achievements with genuine pride and enthusiasm. When Robert's cancer diagnosis came in 1996, the entire family was thrust into a nightmare of uncertainty and fear. For Ryan, who was in his final years of high school, the experience was particularly profound. Watching his father deteriorate while battling an aggressive disease, Ryan felt the helplessness that so many caregivers experience. During chemotherapy appointments, Ryan drove his ailing father with painstaking care, avoiding every bump in the road to shield him from unnecessary pain. These moments of compassionate caregiving would ultimately shape the trajectory of Ryan's life. Heather, meanwhile, became the primary supporter and caregiver, standing by Robert's side throughout his treatment and recovery. She managed household responsibilities while maintaining her own career, attended medical appointments, researched treatment options, and provided emotional support to their children. Their marriage, already strong, became even more deeply bonded through this crucible of suffering. Together, they founded the Robert Urich